Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the last session, sixth session, trends that will shape the future of insurance in Indonesia. Please welcome the panelists. Kristianto Andi Handoko, Deputy Director of Insurance Supervision OJK. Haryadi SA AK M.Bus DBA, Senior Policy Analyst, Fiscal Policy Agency, BKF, Ministry of Finance, Republik Indonesia. Jeffrey Hendrik, Business Development Director, Indonesia Stock Exchange. And the moderator for this session, Mr. Budi Tampubolon, Chairman of Indonesia Life Insurance Association, AAJI.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Semangat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We now are at the last session of discussion of the today event held by AAJI, and for this session we have honorable panelists, Pak Andi, whom I believe we all know him, Deputy Director, Insurance Supervision. So Pak Andi, thank you for coming here, Pak. Everybody is looking to hear from you. And then we also have Pak Haryadi. Ya, Pak Haryadi, Bapak Ibu, Senior Analyst from Badan Kebijakan Fiscal Policy Agency under the Ministry of Finance. And we also have Pak Jeffrey Hendrik from Bursa Efek Indonesia, Exchange. So we have 1.5 hours. So as the first panelist, we would like to ask Pak Andi, to give the first presentation. Silakan Pak Andi, the floor is yours.
Thank you Pak Budi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Shalom, selamat pagi. Thank you, good morning all. Pak Budi, thank you, and all the panelists. I know some of you, last night you went somewhere happening, some or many of you, perhaps. That's what I did the night before. Yeah. So today is the last day, and then let me present some convincing data. Actually, I see that 2 years pandemic, COVID-19 give big impact to the industry, but the data actually shows very good growth that we can see in the coming future, in the coming years, perhaps 3 or 5 years from now, we will see even bigger growth in the insurance industry, especially in life insurance. So as you can see all in the chart, we see that the assets of life insurance growth for the last 5 years, we see that from 2017 until 2021, the asset increased from 513 trillion rupiah to 588 trillion rupiah in 2021. The increase actually around 14%, but at least for the last 5 years, we see the increase, and yeah, it's a bit stable regarding the COVID pandemic. The increase is mostly in the non-investment asset, actually, in cash, in receivables, and in reinsurance asset. On the other hand, in the investment asset, we see a bit decrease in the numbers year by year. We expect that from our historical data, we see that OJK data at the end of 2022, we will reach at least 618 trillion rupiah. And based on the business plan that you already submit to OJK, the number will be in 625 trillion rupiah. As I said, it's very convincing actually. The RBC and the rasio kecukupan investasi, the RKI, still above the minimum requirement in OJK regulation. Although the RBC, you see that the number decreasing from around 600% some years ago, but today the number is still around 485%. Although the number is decreasing, but it's still far above the minimum requirement, so we're still in the safe position. On the positive side, actually, we see that you already use the equity more effectively, more efficiently, because yeah, as you receive premium, the growth is increasing, but the RBC is going down. We see on the positive side, you already use the equity more efficient. As I said, in the premium received in 2020 as an impact of COVID-19, among all the line business in life insurance, we see that only health insurance that shows the increase in premium received, although the number is not very significant, but the increase, the percentage is very convincing. We can see that people tends to become more aware of their health regarding the COVID-19. The premium received in August 2022, it reached 120 trillion rupiah. The product that gives, the line of business that gives the biggest contribution is from the unit link that gives around 44% from the total of premium received, followed by endowment, around 23 trillion rupiah to 20% from the total premium, and health, as I said before, around 10% from the total premium received. And the claim ratio mostly is still under 100%, although for annuity and unit link, it's above 100%. For annuity, around 162%, it's very big number, big percentage. And from unit link, around 114%, still quite big. The other issue that under our concern, OJK concern, is from the research held by Google and Temasek, economy research in 2021, we see that the digital economy is projected to even grow faster until 2025. The value is expected around 146 billion US dollar. As you can see, from the customer penetration also, the percentage is will reach in 13% among the total number of consumer in the digital service in Indonesia. So some of them must be from life insurance industry. Now, what next? The digital process business. In the IT and communication innovation, we can see that many technology appears like a digital platform, the Internet of Things, telematic and big data, and also data analytics, computer, and so on. So we, as in the industry, insurance industry, we are forced. We must adapt in this digital revolution more quickly, and also in the future, like systems like digital claims and digital distribution channel and so on. I believe that it will be used more abroad. Right? For now, I see that digital insurance is still in the marketing system, like the platform that you develop for selling the product. But in the coming future, we hope that, OJK hope that you also develop the digital system for claims, for underwritings, and so on. So the InsurTech is not only about selling the products, not only about convincing the new potential consumer, but also what's next, what's the service that you will give to the consumer. And also the P2P insurance, we see that although the regulation hasn't been set up yet, but in international, like in Germany and some other countries in Europe, the P2P insurance is becoming bigger and becoming common. But here in Indonesia, although today we still don't see the growth in this business, but I believe in the future we will see also this P2P insurance. OJK, as we all know that we already issue OJK regulation number 4 in 2021. It's about the risk management for using the IT in the company, and also the OJK Circular number 19 in 2020. It's about the insurance product distribution channel. The point is that we do see that the information technology is growing faster. So we do need regulation to regulate what you have done, what you have to do in your company regarding this risk management in IT. And the last slide for me, we need to inform you that OJK now in the process of preparing like a roadmap for 2021 until 2026. It's about strengthening the resilience and competitiveness, and the second about developing the ecosystem, and of course the last one is for digital transformation acceleration. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you, Pak Budi, and I will give the time back to you. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Pak Andi. Please give a big applause to Pak Andi. And I believe, Bapak Ibu, some of you may have questions to Pak Andi, but for the time being, please wait. Yeah, we will give the time first, second turn to for presentation to Pak Haryadi from Badan Kebijakan Fiscal Policy Agency under the Ministry of Finance. Pak Haryadi, prior to BKF, Fiscal Policy Agency, has also worked for Bapopam LK. So to Bapak Ibu, our overseas guests, Bapopam LK was the predecessor of OJK today. Yeah, so Pak Haryadi has been with Bapopam LK and is now with Fiscal Policy Agency. Pak Haryadi holds his PhD degree from Victoria University, ya Pak, Australia, also master degree from Australia, and he has his bachelor degree in both accounting and economics. So Pak Haryadi, please Pak.
Terima kasih, thank you Pak Budi for having me. Thank you Bapak Ibu AAJI for having me today to this very excellent conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. It is very honor to me, Pak Budi and Bapak Ibu, for having meeting this morning, and I can see some familiar faces here, Pak Budi. So I just very happy to be among the insurance industry people. So thank you again for having me here. Okay, so maybe I will not taking all the 10 minutes presentation because I have on the last slide maybe one interesting topic about how to to develop and to expand our insurance industry. Okay, next slide, please. Could you help me, the operator? Okay. This is maybe just a background about how is the importance of the insurance industry. The insurance industry, among other institutions in the financial sector, is very important as the intermediation institution. So the financial sector collects a source of funds from domestic saving and foreign capital, and then the banking institution as well as the insurance, it will intermediate from the household sectors, the surplus sector to the needed sector one. And then we believe that the stronger the intermediation function and the greater is the contribution the finance sector to the economic growth. So that's what we do hope from the insurance industry, Pak Budi, when you were asking me about what's the role of insurance industry in the future. So this role that we expect from the insurance industry. Okay, next slide, please. This is just some summary data of our performance in terms of among the ASEAN peers. If we can see here, our financial sector, the Indonesia finance sector among peers is relatively lower than our counterparts. But if we can see more detail, especially for the insurance industry, even it is still underdeveloped, Pak Budi. I'm sorry to say that, but this is for our motivation because we have a huge number of people in Indonesia. So we do hope that the contribution of non-banking financial sector in the future will be greater than we can see here today. So that's why, on the next slide, there are some issues that we also agree with previous speakers because I think the challenge that we have today in Indonesia is the problem of penetration and the density that if we compare to Malaysia, for example, or Thailand and even Vietnam, we are still lagging behind. So that's why in the government, we agree that any initiatives to expand this penetration, including with such insurtech and other means of distribution channels. Okay, next slide, please. Another challenge that we have to consider in our insurance industry is the law of financial literacy, and as well as the misconduct behavior that we can still face today. If we look at the OJK 2019 survey data, the insurance literacy and inclusion index, even though it is increased, but it is still under the banking industry. Yeah? And the survey implies that about 2 out of 10 people, fortunately, they have understood the function of insurance, but yeah, unfortunately, only 1% among those 10 people who is willing to purchase the insurance product. So we need to make innovation with digital and technology. Hopefully we can do more so that more people want to and eager to buy insurance products. And another thing as a challenge is the low literacy has made consumers less prudent when choosing what's the correct insurance product for them. So by having more literacy, education to insurance, hopefully those cases that we see from the media will not happen again in the future. Yeah, if we look at the previous and current media information, there are still many cases that we have today. Next slide, please. And another challenge that maybe, I don't know, because I just arrived this morning, that we have to consider in the industry is the capacity of human resources, Pak Budi and Bapak Ibu. There are many profession and human resources issues in the insurance industry, and one of them is the number of actuaries. And we look at this issue is very important in addition to other aspects as well. So hopefully the AAJI, the Asosiasi of Asuransi Jiwa Indonesia, hopefully later on, together with universities, academicians, and other institutions, as well as with OJK, can look at this issue very deep as well. Because many cases that we have seen in the past, to some extent is because of this issue as well. So we do hope from the government there are new initiatives and other strategies to look at this issue as well. Okay, next slide, please. So we do agree with our previous speakers that the future of financial sector is changing, and the role of digital and technology is very important, including in insurance industry. So we have also studied about how these financial services in the future will be more than just a brick and mortar institution. The new technology, internet and other things will be the basis, will be the background on how the insurance company make a product and innovations in the future. Okay, next slide, please. Next. Okay, this is basically the same with my previous slides. So what's becoming the trend in insurance sector? So once again, technology and digitalization is becoming the most common approach in the future. So this is becoming the opportunity for the industry as well, because it will be becoming a channel to improve literacy and education about insurance, and then it will create opportunities to create more diverse channel distribution, to make a robust market conduct approach, and then to improve claim handling and to enhance the reporting and so on. Next slide. So another consequences for the having technology in the future for the insurance industry, I think we need a better integrated supervision. So I'm happy that a colleague from OJK is here, so we can have like proposal for OJK to increase the strategy and then the policy to be everything regulation about the insurance to be integrated supervision, because in the future the insurance product will be combined between the protection and investment, and then will be more insurance product will cover the banking credit, And we can see many more insurance companies will invest in more diverse investment instruments. So therefore, the integrated supervision should be there to promote the more stable and conducive financial sector. Next slide, please. Basically, this is what do government really eager to achieve in the next coming years. So the government willing to have in 2045 Indonesia will becoming a high income country. Indonesia has three modalities in terms of demographic, economy, and also the financial sector. So we have aspiration as well here. When we see the previous slide that the insurance sector only about 6% in terms of assets, compared to total financial sector assets, we do hope in the coming 2045, the insurance asset will be roughly 20% of the GDP. This is a very, I know this is very optimistic target or cita-cita, the optimism too optimistic, but hopefully with all the efforts and the strategy and the synergy from all the stakeholders, this target will be achieved. Okay, next slide. And one of the strategies to aim the target of 2045, structural reforms has been conducted. We started the reforms from the 1998 through the law on banking, and other regulation and policy has been released by the government, including this current year, when the Omnibus Law for the finance sector has been also introduced and has just been sent by the Parliament to the government, I think in last month. Next slide. So the Omnibus Law for the financial sector will add and is a part of the post-pandemic structural reform together with the Omnibus Law on job creation. So hopefully it will contribute to the achievement of development sustainability for Indonesia in the future. Of course, not to forget also about the fiscal policy support from the government by improving the quality of spending through effective spending on education and so on, and also by continuing infrastructure acceleration through strengthening digital infrastructure and encouraging logistics efficiency and connectivity. Okay, next slide. This is the transformation roadmap on the financial sector that we have discussed, Bapak Ibu, with the stakeholders. So the government is willing to achieve a financial sector that is deep, innovative, efficient, inclusive, and reliable, as well as strong and stable. So we propose 5 pillars and vision of financial sector development and strengthening, starting from improving the access to financial services, promoting long-term source of finance, increasing the competitiveness and efficiency, developing instruments and strengthening risk mitigation, and strengthening investor and consumer protection. And the foundation of all those 5 pillars, we also seek to strengthening the leadership and coordination of development of Indonesian financial sector, as well as strengthening institutional authority and stability of the Indonesian financial system. So when you see the table below, there are some strategy and initiatives proposed by the government. Of course, we have talked to the OJK, we have talked to Bank Indonesia and LPS and other stakeholders in the industry, and we do hope that these initiatives can enhance and can help to achieve those ideal and the targets. Okay, next slide, please. So, talking about the Omnibus Law on financial sector, Bapak Ibu, currently we are on the stage number 2, because last month, on the 20th of September 2022, the Parliament has sent the draft of the bill to the government, and the government has 60 days to make a response in form of daftar inventarisasi masalah. So currently, or maybe just last week, Pak Budi, we invited many stakeholders, including the AAJI, to seek for suggestions, and then to seek for usulan, maybe Other thing that can help government to talk to the DPR, the parliament later on, when we want to achieve this Omnibus Law bill. And to address the challenge in the insurance sector, strategic policies that currently proposed on the drafts, one of them is about to strengthening the market conduct of the players. And then the second one is governing the mutual insurance. And then the third one is the establishment of the policyholders protection program. I think the third one was, among other things, that has been attracted many attention and interest from the industry as well, I believe so. And this is my last slide, Bapak Ibu, on how to boost the insurance penetrations. This is basically that we have from many discussion with many stakeholders in the country on how to boost penetration in Indonesia. One of other thing, we agree with previous speakers that we need to improve our literacy and education on insurance. And there are also suggestions about a mandatory insurance program, which will be held by insurance companies competitively. And there is also a suggestion on a policyholder protection program as an initiative to improve the public trust on the industry. And another thing is to improve the access to understand and protect the insurance product. Yeah. And another issue is about consumer protection, to increase the capacity of human resources in this industry. And of course, another important thing is to increase the good corporate governance of the industry and the players. One other thing, and the last but not least, is the integrated supervision. One of we think is very important to increase the insurance penetration. I think the synergy from the all stakeholders is needed because, and then we seek and then we invite the participation of all parties, including the industry that and you all here, to give some recommendation or suggestion to the government and to the authority, so that all these initiatives can be implemented in the future. But on the other side, we also realize that the economic condition and the standard of living of our people, yeah, in Indonesia especially, also play a significant role to purchase the insurance product. So we do that. There is a connection, there's a relationship between the level of penetration and also the standard of living of the people. I think that's my last slide. Thank you for your attention, Bapak Ibu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih banyak Pak Haryadi. Bapak Ibu, as mentioned by Pak Haryadi, the draft of the new law, Omnibus Law, RUU P2SK, development and strengthening of the financial sector is currently being reviewed by MOF, ya Pak ya, and particularly by BKF, Fiscal Policy Agency, so that in case you have some questions, please hold them for now, and your questions, Bapak Ibu, can be sent to slido.com, code IF22-6. Yeah, so, but in case you prefer to raise your questions later on directly, that can be done also. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And our third panelist for this last session is Pak Jeffrey Hendrik. Pak Jeffrey has, I think, more than 20 years experience in the capital market, Bapak Ibu, and he is now Director for Business Development, ya Pak, at our IDX, Jakarta or Indonesia Exchange Market. Silakan Bapak.
Thank you, Pak Budi, Pak Andi, Pak Haryadi, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to you. As the last speaker in this long days event and almost lunchtime, I believe this is quite challenging. Yeah, so I promise you this will be a short one. Okay, I will not go through all my presentation slides. Okay, you can get it from the committee. I'll just tell you what's happening in our capital market and what will happen in our capital market. Okay, last week, Indonesia capital market also having a 3 days summit and expo, but we did it virtually. Yeah. The participants is more than 110,000 participants visiting the virtual events. And we also having 9 seminars and talk shows. I will tell you the conclusion of the seminar and talk show later. Now I will tell you the conclusion of the opening. The opening was conveyed by our head of OJK, Bapak Mahendra Siregar, and the Economic Coordinating Minister, Bapak Airlangga Hartarto. They send the same message. Okay, the message is things gonna be bad in the future. Even Pak Airlangga using the terms perfect storm is coming. Okay, but it's coming abroad. How about Indonesia? Indonesia still can be optimistic. Okay, not because Indonesia is better than other countries, but because other countries are worse than Indonesia. So the optimism is already in our capital market since this year. Okay, this year I think less than 8 exchanges in the world that perform positively. Indonesia is one of them. Indonesia is number 6. Okay, maybe this will change. Yeah, a few weeks ago we are number 5. Okay, but the point is the optimism is already in our capital market. Okay, all indicators showing the same message. In terms of trading value, we book positive growth. A total of listed company, we are one of the highest in the region. Okay, Indonesia capital market is now somehow number 2 in some ways. In terms of number of listed company, we are number 2 behind Malaysia. In terms of market capitalization, we are number 2 after Singapore, but not long from now, Indonesia will be number 1. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this optimism, okay, contributed by growth of investor in Indonesia capital market. Okay, next please. Okay, I also will skip this one next. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, how Indonesia investors growth. Okay, in 5 years, almost 9-fold the growth of Indonesia capital market investors. Okay, from around 1.1 million investor, now we have more than 9.7 investor in our capital market, and 4.2 million of them are in equity market. Okay, and if you see the number like 10 or more years ago, foreign investor held more than 50% of our ownership in equity or in our market capitalization. Now our domestic investor holding more than 53% of the ownership, more than 53% from more than 600 billion US dollar or 9,300 trillion rupiah of our market capitalization. Okay, and our domestic investor, retail together with our institutional investor, contribute more than 70% of our daily trading transaction in our capital market. This is the optimism of our domestic investor. Okay, next. Okay, as you can see in these figures, most of our investors are young investors. They will be still our investor for decades from now, and they keep growing. This is a very promising figures for our capital market. Next. Okay, now if I have to connect the dots between our capital market and our insurance industry, okay, our insurance industry is a very important part of our capital market. As you see here, I think more than 1.1 trillion, I believe more than that, around, it should be around more than 200 trillion rupiah from insurance industry invested in Indonesia capital market. So, next. Okay, what is an Indonesia Stock Exchange together with our stakeholders in capital market will do to maintain this optimism? There are two things that we are going to do. First is the market deepening, both from the supply and demand side. And the second and the very important thing is the investor protection. Not only to protect our retail investor, but also our institutional investor as well as our foreign investor. We will protect all of them. Okay, so last I will tell you the message from the 9th session of seminar and talk show in our Capital Market Summit and Expo. The conclusion are, first, technology is a must. Our growth of investor was mainly contributed by the implementation of technology in our capital market. How the onboarding process is very important. Okay. Second, our capital market potential is huge. Okay, and it needs collaboration to optimize the potential, not only among us in the capital market, but also with other financial industry. So we can not only build a strong capital market industry, but a strong Indonesia financial industry. So I think that's all from me. I believe the committee put me as the last speaker for a reason. So whatever you do for the last 2 days, okay, at the end of the day, you have to come to the capital market. Thank you very much.
Very good conclusion, Pak Jeffrey. So Pak Andi, Pak Haryadi, Pak Jeffrey, thank you very much. Bapak Ibu, we now entering the question and answers session. So let us start first with questions probably already raised via Slido. Panitia Organizing Committee, if there are questions from Slido. Okay. Let me read it. Earlier session mentioned that clarity of regulation is needed to accelerate digital growth. What are the actions that will be taken? So let me read. Second one, Pak Andi sedang OJK sedang melakukan digital. Okay, so I think it's related to digital, yeah. I think for the first 2 questions, let us hear from Pak Andi. Silakan Pak Andi.
Okay, for the first question, as I already presented in some slides, that OJK actually already issue OJK regulation regarding the risk management of IT system in the company and also for the distribution channel untuk jalur pemasaran ya Bapak Ibu ya. Jadi sebenarnya kedepannya kita memang melihat, sorry I speak bahasa Bapak Ibu supaya lebih kena feel-nya. Sebenarnya begini, jadi kami melihat seperti beberapa kali kami gaungkan juga ya, insurance ini walau bagaimana kan produk proteksi ya, gitu. Jadi pure protection. Kita sebenarnya mendorong, OJK mendorong penjualan produk asuransi itu kembali ke kitohnya. Ya, jadi memang ada produk unit link. Pak Haryadi already mentioned that a sophisticated product like a combined product between insurance and investment is also the needs from the consumer, but we do also need kind of pure protection product, and I believe that digital technology, it's easier for today, it's easier as a start to sell simple product through digital platform compared to other more sophisticated products. So for this question ya saya rasa justru untuk mendorong supaya digital industri ini lebih terbentuk, sebenarnya kita lebih mengarahkan untuk menjual produk-produk yang simple dulu di awalnya gitu. Jadi saya rasa kita pun kalau membeli produk-produk yang untuk kebutuhan sehari-hari kan lebih mudah mencari sekarang ini di platform digital ya gitu. Kita tinggal browsing nama produknya apa. Saya tadi 2 hari yang lalu beli permen karet buat anak saya pun saya belinya lewat, ya itu aja, browsing aja begitu. Jadi I think for the start just sell simple product compared to unit link and some other sophisticated product. We already issue circular letter, OJK circular letter regarding the unit link. We do encourage the company to profile the new potential policyholder. Jadi kita meminta untuk perusahaan, untuk produk-produk yang sophisticated, kita fokus ke pemegang polis yang sophisticated. Jadi jangan lagi, mohon maaf nih, karena permasalahan banyak tadi Pak Haryadi sudah paparkan, memang industri tumbuh tapi permasalahan juga tumbuh gitu. Jadi saya rasa untuk mengembangkan digital ya kita fokus ke produk yang simple, untuk mengembangkan bisnis yang sophisticated ya kita juga sejak awal harus protect new potential policyholder-nya. Jadi policyholder yang benar-benar punya profile, has profile to buy the unit link, not any people that you meet outside this building, you sell the product to them, not anymore for me. Saya rasa begitu Pak Budi. Lalu yang kedua tadi apa ya?
Okay, I think Pak Andi for now, thank you.
Okay.
Bapak Ibu, I think every one of us from insurance industry, particularly life, what we would like to see is that this digital initiative helps our industry to penetrate the market, right? To have more customers, more policyholders, more insured persons. But before probably allowing Pak Andi to give more explanation, I think it is better for us to hear from Pak Jeffrey what the capital market has done so that within 8 years, Pak, 10 years, the number of retail customers, retail investors in the capital market has increased so significantly. So is that something that has to do with digital, Pak? Please, Pak.
Yes, Pak Budi. The contribution of digitalization is playing a very important role in increasing our retail, especially retail investors, starting with the application of online trading and then online account opening, and now even we are implementing simplification of opening account. As you may be aware that if you want to open a securities account in Indonesia, you have also to open a bank account for segregation of your funds. So now we already implement a simplification. So if you are already a client of a bank, okay, we will share between the KYC between a bank and a securities company. So no more paper, no more signature. So everything done digitally.
So thank you, Pak. So that is something I think Bapak Ibu that us would like to see. So I try to conclude, Pak, that there has been some discussion between stock exchange with probably OJK Capital Market and OJK Banking to smoothen the process to acquire new retail investors. Betul ya, Pak ya? So probably that is something that we can work also, Bapak Ibu, between the association or the life insurance companies, OJK, IKNB, and OJK Banking. Also, probably to Pak Haryadi, data shows, Pak, that there are already about 20 millions of individual policyholders, Pak. 20 millions, yeah. While the number of total insured persons, it's probably 73 or 74 millions of Indonesian people. But those buying intentionally buying for themselves and paying for from their pocket, it's about 21.9, if not mistaken, millions. Yeah, meaning that there are still about 250 millions of Indonesian people, Pak, who do not have insurance protection yet for different reasons. Yeah, probably ignorance. Probably access to get insurance policy is difficult, probably affordability, etc., etc., etc. But what can you share with us, Pak, the vision or the aspiration from Minister of Finance related to insurance and the welfare of the nation, Pak? Meaning that us from the insurance industry, we believe that to some extent, life insurance industry helps to increase, to enhance the level of welfare of Indonesian people, of many families in Indonesia. Simple example is that when a father, a breadwinner, unfortunately passes away, if this father or this breadwinner has an insurance policy, then a certain amount of money, the sum assured, will be paid to the family, right, Pak? And the children can continue going to school, going to university, etc., and not have to work too soon to assume the financial burden of the family when the father passes away. So I believe, Pak, that insurance industry, particularly life, to some extent help the government, right, Pak? Pak Jokowi, our president, has a goal that by 2045, Indonesia will reach its golden generation. So can we assume, Pak, that the Ministry of Finance would also like to see that there will be more and more Indonesian families having insurance protection? What do you think, Pak?
Thank you, Pak Budi, for the very challenging question, Pak. I think, yeah, this is a very relevant question because, in my opinion, government has responsibility to ensure its citizen and its, citizen and the public, yeah, to be covered by any protection, especially with the insurance. And the government has initiated to introduce the insurance scheme to the public, to the society, especially for the low level of, or maybe low to mid level of society, through the, what we call mandatory insurance. For example, insurance for fishermen, insurance for the farmers and, farmers. And then, by that way, we do hope that the society, those people who has already been, quote unquote, subsidized by the government to pay their premium, can later on continue their protection by having by their own. Because we believe that this is very important issue. What you have mentioned earlier about the too soon generation to enter the workplace, yeah. I think that is something we have to consider a lot, because otherwise, in the future, those generation that has no protection at all, in terms of the quality and the background of the education will be lag behind. Yeah, moreover, if we compare to other country, yeah, in the region. So, with the industry, we do have that. The life industry, the life insurance industry especially, can contribute by, making or producing more efficient and, cheaper products, for example. So those people can continue their protections by buying their insurance by themselves. And then the government part will be introduced in the first beginning, and then later on support with other part of the society. So the government will take care with those who, unfortunate and then selected people. And then once they have already ready to buy their own their policy, the government can move to, other societies. So by this way, hopefully, the inclusiveness of insurance, the penetration level of insurance can increase in the future, Pak, hopefully.
Thank you very much, Pak Haryadi. So basically, Pak Haryadi confirms that the Minister of Finance can also see some benefits that can be contributed by insurance industry. So that means that AAJI can come to you, Pak, later on in Jakarta, Pak, to talk about that further.
Very welcome, Pak.
Can we also discuss about some incentives to the insurance industry, Pak?
You have submitted those many times, but we are happy to welcome you in Jakarta, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Haryadi. Thank you, Pak. And also to Pak Andi, before we go back to questions from Slido.com, to Pak Andi, this also shows, Pak, our aspiration, Pak, as an insurance industry, to see, because what we would like to see, Pak, is not only to get more premium and to get or to book more profit, Pak, but I think many of us would also be very happy to see that the insurance awareness and the number of Indonesian citizens having insurance protection increasing significantly, yeah, Pak. So we already see, Pak, that until today the two biggest distribution channels in Indonesia for life insurance industry, it's agency and bank assurance. But for some reasons, these two main distribution channels have its own limitation, Pak, to serve or to provide insurance protection, also insurance literacy in all the thousands of islands of Indonesia. So probably digital, it's one of the effective and efficient ways in delivering message about insurance, what is insurance, why it is needed, and how it can help families in Indonesia. So basically, what I can sense from my friends, from the industry, is that we would like to see that there will be some actions, there will be some supports from different stakeholders, particularly government bodies, including OJK, to not only to say we support digital, but if possible, more real action about this, because otherwise, what we can see today, everybody wants to implement digital, but in reality, probably only a few of life insurance companies have really done it. So what can you say about that, Pak? Is there any plan? Is there any action from OJK in the near future to help insurance industry in penetrating market much deeper than today, Pak? Silakan, Pak Andi.
Thank you, Pak Budi. Pak Jokowi, our president, said that this is a country that has many regulations, ya Pak. Ya. So I think, yeah, from our perspective, for now we don't need more regulation actually, but because the regulations are already there for you to develop your product, to develop your company, to strengthen your sales force and so on. Yeah, me as a supervisor, we always discuss with the company. I'm very happy that some of you always communicate with us if you want to use some kind of application or system or so on and so forth. And we give inputs to the company, to the board of director of the company. So I think just go on with your plan to enter the digital industry. We, OJK, will support. As you already said, Pak, we do support you. Not only lip service, but in reality also. As I said before, come on, contact us if you need consultation or inputs regarding your plan to develop something. Just tell us, let us know, and we will guide you regarding this regulation, Pak. Jadi sebenarnya regulasinya sebenarnya sudah ada, Pak, begitu. Kayak manajemen risiko teknologi informasi itu sebenarnya guidance juga untuk Bapak Ibu dari A to Z, from your selling products until you pay the claim to the customer. Gitu, Pak.
Andi, thank you, Pak Andi. One more question to Pak Haryadi. Pak Haryadi, I think one of the reason why digital insurance, particularly when done by insurance companies, has not taken off yet, is that there is a sort of ambiguity, Pak, in terms of regulators. Yeah, meaning that we believe that our regulator as insurance industry, it's OJK. But when trying to do digital, sometimes a bit like OJK and Kementerian Komunikasi and Informasi. So is there any possibility, Pak, in the Omnibus Law that we are discussing, RUU P2SK, development and strengthening the financial sector, that it is clearly stipulated that everything that needs approval for insurance industry or financial industry even, it stays within OJK, Pak, for clarity for everybody.
Okay, to answer the question, Pak Budi, thank you for this interesting question. Yes, but in responding the Omnibus Law, the Minister of Finance has invited the Ministry of Communication and Information, Kominfo, to discuss on how to fix this issue, ya, Pak, ya. And even not only with the Kominfo, with OJK and then BI, we also do so. So basically, we believe that this should be solved in the regulation, because the Ministry of Kominfo has their own perspective on how to regulate this platform kind of businesses. So we understand that, and then in the draft bill, or at least in the daftar inventarisasi masalah that we have prepared currently, we mentioned something that need to be a coordination between the OJK as the insurance supervisor or as the insurance regulator with the Kominfo. And this coordination, among other things, will describe about who will responsible maybe for the licensing, but which I believe still under the OJK, because only the insurance company who can sell the insurance product to the public. So on the other side, the Kominfo will take care about the internet thing or the digital platform kind of regulation. So this is what actually happened to other sector as well. For example, in P2P, or maybe in e-money and e-payment, yeah, that should be coordination as well between the OJK and other institutions such as the Bank Indonesia as the authority for payment system. This is what we see in the future should be communication, coordination between regulators or among regulators. And yeah, we have done so, hopefully we can see that clearly on the bill, on the draft bill.
Thank you very much, Pak Haryadi. One question from Slido, please. Or while waiting for Slido, if any question from the floor, Kawaisang, please. Bapak Ibu, microphone, please.
Thank you so much, Yoshikawa from OECD Chair. And just as Jeffrey mentioned, without this panel, this conference cannot be concluded. You precisely said, and thank you so much. It's so informative. And Budi mentioned, I think the regulation is a key of the whole digital transformation. And one question to you particularly, Haryadi and Andi, it's related to mission of the regulation. When I see all the international regulation trend, particularly after digitalization, of course, our legislation, our mandate of regulators is protection of policyholders, stability of the system. But also after digitalization, when we see other countries, not only Asian countries, but globally, my own country, JFSA is the same. Mandate is also include development side. For example, JFSA that I'm advisor, is people call it formerly very much control-oriented authority, but now we call it Finance Development Agency. So my question to you, as a mandate or as your policy direction, as a legislature and regulator, how do you put emphasis? For example, sandbox, and you mentioned that A to Z. Some regulators put creation, sort of help the industry's digitalization as a trial before launching to the market. Are you intending to do that, or how far you are intending to do that, this development, mandate? And naturally, stability policyholder protection is important, but how you keep balance and how far you intend to go? Thanks.
Thank you, Kawaisang. Silakan Pak Haryadi, Pak Andi.
Thank you, Pak. We do have in OJK, Pak, like sandbox group. So we invite any companies, any unique companies that we don't even know what kind of company is this, to submit licensing approval to OJK, and then we put this company in the sandbox regulation. We see this company, the profile, their business, their operation, for a certain period of times, maybe around 6 months or even 1 year. So as we already know this, what type of company is this, and then we send them to the supervisor, the regulators of this specific company. But for any company that we don't even have the box yet, the wadahnya itu, yeah, we now are trying to membuat regulasinya, to develop the certain regulation for this type of company. So I'm telling you that we do have this kind of mechanism to invite new specific company. We don't know this company yet, but yes, around more than 100, 200 companies already submit this license approval to OJK. Thank you.
Jadi silakan Pak.
Thank you for the question. Maybe just to add some what have been mentioned by Pak Andi. I think the OJK and as well as the BI, the Bank Indonesia, and we as the government as well support initiative for a sandbox regulation, because we also followed what has been doing in international best practices. OJK with Pak Andi has been mentioned that for new type of activities related to financial services, in financial sector, will be looked at deeply. There are some methodology, I believe, Pak Andi, to identify on what kind of sector, or maybe in what kind of activity this new type of businesses will be categorized or grouped. And I believe that OJK has done so. And as well as other institutions like Bank Indonesia, they also follow those procedures. And maybe I believe that, I agree with you that this technology, we cannot stop the development of technology. So I remember back in 2018, Pak Budi, in this island as well, the government has launched the Bali FinTech Agenda when there was IMF World Bank annual meeting back in 2018. The government of Indonesia believed that the technology should not stop the development of the financial sector, but we need to consider the risk as well. So that's why there is a regulators. That's why there is OJK, Bank Indonesia, as well as the Kominfo, Pak Budi, to look after the protection of the customers, as well as investors. So, and it keeps changing, including the latest, discussion, for example, about if we can say crypto or maybe robot trading and so on and so forth. And what has been also discussed, maybe P2P insurance, I just recently know from Pak Andi, they will come to, will be scrutinized by the OJK on what kind of activity or institution would be in the category. So I think that's what we need to look after the protection and not to stop the development as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Haryadi. Question from Slido, please. Okay, so I think this question first to Pak Jeffrey. IDX has been very successful in increasing retail investors since 2017. What has been done by IDX, even though Pak Jeffrey has slightly explained about this, so that insurance penetration can also increase. Pak Jeffrey, silakan Pak.
Okay, maybe I'll answer this in general, and also I'll add something for Kawaisang. Technology helps, okay, but If only technology without good products and investor protections, there will be no retail investor will come. Okay, so technology is one thing, and we use that technology to protect our investor. When it comes to investor protection, we think and we act very seriously. Okay, for example, how we use technology to protect our investor is now there are 810 listed companies in our exchange. We use notification, and it's real time. Okay, so we will mark each share with notification. In total, we have more than 11 notification. If you late to submit your report, we will mark you with one mark notification. If you are in filing bankruptcy, if you are in legal issue, if you have negative equity, so many notification we can put, and that's real time. So every single investor, and it's mandatory to our members. Our members, the securities company, must display those notifications. So our retail investor or institutional investor, if they key in the share codes, the notification will appear. So they can decide, okay, with full or disclosed information. That's example how we use technology. Technology is a big help to us, okay, but how we use that technology to protect our investor in all. I think, Kaisang, that's my, because nobody asked me, I insist to answer your question, Pak.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you, Pak Haryadi. Bapak Ibu, question from the floor. Silakan. Silakan Bapak Ibu. Or while waiting for the question, probably I can ask Pak Haryadi if you can share some hints with us, Pak, related to the law draft, Pak, the new law draft Omnibus about development and strengthening the financial sector, Pak. What can we hear from you, Pak? Some good news probably, Pak, for us?
Yeah, thank you, Pak Budi. So the draft bill comes from the Parliament. It has been submitted 20th of September last month. So we have about 60 days to make comments from the draft. And there are about 12 clusters, yeah, including insurance. Within the insurance, there are 3 chapters about the amendment of a law on insurance. And the second chapter is about the mutual insurance, and the third chapter is about a policyholder protection program. Last week we just had a meaningful participation. We invited associations and some other stakeholders. And this week on Thursday, 2 days after today, on Thursday, we are inviting again associations to talk and to ask for feedbacks from the association, from the public, about the content. The content itself you can access from or through the Parliament website. It's available there, the draft. And then on Thursday we ask for your suggestion, for your recommendation about those last 2 chapters, which is about mutual insurance and policyholder protection program. Maybe what's coming for me, for example, as a good news, I talked to you in the holding room before. There was like a proposal to include the e-police, electronic police, as stated in the law, in the draft law, so that this is to strengthen the current Undang-Undang ITE, so that the insurance company can produce police with, hopefully with a more efficient and effective way. So that's actually the, yeah. Applause again, please. Thanks for OJK who has already proposed that, and we agree with that because we need to see more police to be, circulated and distributed to all regions in Indonesia, Pak, with efficient way, of course. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Haryadi. Thank you to Pak Andi, also to Bapak Ibu from OJK for proposing that. Hopefully it can be accepted later on in the final law for P2SK, Development and Strengthening the Financial Sector. But Bapak Ibu, we all know that there are several reasons, but two main reasons why digital has not taken off yet. It's because some ambiguity between OJK and Keminfo, yeah, and second, it's because of the wet signature. So with the e-policy, Pak, probably it can help. So thank you, Pak. But can we ask for more, Pak? Yeah, no, just kidding, Pak. But I'd like to return to Kawaisang comment earlier. Yeah, when we talk about customers protection, yeah, we often talk about the existing policyholders, yeah, how to protect them, how to protect the financial soundness of the insurance company, yeah, because if the insurance company is not financially sound, then it may have impacts to the customers, etc. But we should not forget that there are, again, Pak, 250 million of Indonesian people who probably some of them are looking and in the needs of insurance. So we really are looking forward for support for some ease of regulations, how insurance industry can cover more and more Indonesian families. If talking about mission, as mentioned by Kawaisang earlier, is there any possibility, Pak, in the RUU draft, in the new law draft, that what if BPJS Kesehatan has a goal, has a mission, universal coverage by the latest 2029, if not mistaken, right? Is there any possibility that life insurance industry should cover universally all Indonesian citizens by the latest a certain year from now? So if possible, Pak, we would like to take up that challenge, Pak, as an insurance, life insurance industry. Bapak Ibu semua, this ends our discussion session. Let's give a big round of applause to Pak Jeffrey, to Pak Haryadi, and to Pak Andi. Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, really an honor for us to welcome you here. Thank you, Bapak Ibu.
All panelists are requested to remain on stage to receive token of appreciation. We would like to invite Mr. Shadik Akasha from AAJI Board to come on stage to present token of appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, for the closing remarks, please welcome our Chairman of Insurance Forum 2022, Mr. Saintan Satyamurthy.
Are we on, Mike? Semangat pagi! So, normally this kind of session, they say, I'm between you and your lunch, but I think I'm between you and your CPD points at the moment. I just wanted to quickly thank the Indonesian government and the Ministry of Finance for allowing us to be part of the G20 presidency this year. A special thank you to OJK, to GFIA for their support in this event. To all our speakers and panelists during this time, including some who flew 24 hours around the world to come here for 36 hours and then fly back 24 hours just to present and be with us today. Can we give a big round of applause to all our speakers, moderators, and panelists? I also want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, our platinum sponsors, AIA, Prudential, Allianz, Manulife, silver sponsors, BRI Life, Indonesia Re, bronze sponsors, Mandiri in Health, Great Eastern, Admedica, and our media partner, Compass. The last announcement I was asked to give, I know people come here because you want to learn, not for your points for your risk management. But I had a meeting with compliance yesterday, and they said you can't just get the points by checking in and checking out. There is going to be a test, and you have to score 80% on the test. So can we put up the QR code for the test, please? I'm only kidding. Very last thing from me. Many people said thank you to me and congratulations for the event. To be very honest, I did very little. And I say this very honestly. I'm lucky enough to have a fantastic team from the industry and from the AAJI Secretariat who helped do this. Can I invite them on stage? Hani, Yuri, Karin, Esti, Yuda, Listi, Mitchell, are you guys here? Come on, don't be shy. Can we give them all a big round of applause? And the AAJI Secretariat, I know, are still working hard here. Don't be shy. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the event, these are the people who made it happen. Can we give them another round of applause? Malu, come on. As a last request to all the BOD, can we turn down the music a bit, please? Thank you. As a last request to all the BOD and BOC here today, can I please ask that you encourage your colleagues, your teams, yourselves to be part of all these events in AAJI. It makes a difference for them. If you ask everyone here, it was stressful, but they had a great time and learned a lot. And it helps the industry, helps us contribute to making the industry better. We may not make the one product for everyone, Yuda, but at least we can make the one event for everyone. So thank you very much again, everyone. See you in Dream 2023. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes Insurance Forum 2022, supporting a strong, inclusive, and sustainable recovery. All the materials will be uploaded in green microsite. Lunch provided at Exhibition Hall. Certificate will be sent to your email. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next year.